Oh, man, I was in Nashville for like 28 hours or something like that. It was quite the odyssey. We were getting out of here, had to do a thing Tuesday morning at the Daily Wire. Had to do a Ben Shapiro show early Tuesday morning. So the plan was what time are flights out on Monday?
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't Southwest, was it?
No, but may have been. And
But you can't get the Nashville direct.
yeah, there
Non-stop.
was. So there was flights, and there was this 3:00 flight that would have put us in at like, I don't know, 9:00 or something with the time difference or whatever it was. Enough time to get to the hotel, get a little shut-eye in for the early call the next morning. But that flight was full. So that left the 7 p.m. flight, which landed at, 1.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And that didn't leave us a lot of turnaround time the next morning for what was a long day at the Daily Wire. But so be it. That was the flight we had. So Max Pata rolled over to my house, and we jumped in my car. But first, we got the text and the news that the flight was delayed.
Yep.
So now what was already going to be get your hotel room at 2 and I'll meet you in the lobby at 7:45. It was now turning into God knows when. That's the last flight we can get. Got delayed an hour. We didn't have any other info, although Chris did what Brian or Danny Two Sheets would have done, which is he used his app, found the flight, and found... Because whenever I hear it's been delayed an hour, I think there's going to be another hour tacked onto that, especially with all the mishigash with the Southwest and beyond. But he found out the flight was just leaving Mexico an hour late, and that was our plane.
Okay.
Of the incoming plane. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so we figured it out. So we took off out there, and yes, we were about an hour late. And a lot of controversy with Delta of, do you take the tram, the shuttle, to the other part of the airport from Delta?
Oh, the
They
teeny
have
tiny
the remote
part.
terminal.
Yeah, we've done
or
that.
remote gates, I
They
should
have
say.
the remote gate that's down at the end of the shoehorn,
That's
down
brutal.
in the international,
Yeah.
and they're up front. So which one? Got a lot of conflicting information. Mike was there. We got to get the shuttle. Then he calls and says, we don't need the shuttle. We're
You gotta
taking off from
investigate.
here. Yeah. I don't know, Chris.
Yeah,
How'd we figure that out?
So we were driving in. Adam, he's like he's made peace that we'll get to the airport early because the game's on. He can get into the lounge.
Sure.
Let's just
Try all the
relax at the
soups.
airport. Yeah, just hang out for
Go
a
on a
little
soup
bit.
tour.
Yeah.
So we're driving. August is already there, and he calls us saying, "Hey, the gate is actually at the Tom Bradley International part of the airport because Delta has like a remote station there. It takes about 15, 20 minutes like to get there after you pass through security. So
Well, if
August
you
is
take the
suggesting,
shuttle.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
August
have to
is
take the
suggesting that we just go straight to Tom Bradley.
Okay.
And we just get in through there. We could bypass the shuttle, but there's no lounges in Tom Bradley.
I had built my world around the lounge. I had found out I have access to the lounge. This is a big deal. The flight's going to be delayed, so be it. I will hang out in the lounge, but no lounge.
No lounge.
So now I'm like,
And a bunch of foreign people. Strike 1 and 2. Am I
that's right. Greasy, smelly, unwashed,
Swarthy.
SARS, COVID-ridden foreigners.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, well, let's just stop it short. We'll go in, we'll use the lounge, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so we park the car, and then we get another call from August saying, hey, the gate's changed.
Oh.
It's now in the main part of the airport,
Oh,
actually
boy.
right by the bar that he was at, Barney's Beanery. So, like, okay, things are coming up Carolla.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're back.
Blessing
Like
in
a
disguise.
winner.
Yeah,
That's
so now
right.
we can go to the lounge. So we get up there, and then Adam and August go to the lounge. And August says, just double check with the person with the computer and just make sure that it is coming to this gate because it wasn't announced on our apps, it wasn't announced on the screen, but she said I got info that it's coming to this gate, so you guys just stay
Inside
here.
horse. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go over there and I ask her, and there's another lady there too, and they both tell me, yeah, that inside info is true. You just stay here.
Then Mike and I get to the lounge, and the lady at the lounge goes, no, you're getting in the shuttle. It's up on the board. I can see it from here.
Okay.
And now a lot of controversy, but we're just going to power into the lounge and see how much cheese we can eat.
Chris,
in
sorry,
15 minutes.
who did you get your info from again?
The two they were just there with the computers like at the front. I don't know what you call them, but the
Ticketing agents?
The ticketing agents,
Okay,
yeah.
'cause
But
they'll
they're a help center. They weren't even like they didn't have a gate for them. They were just like the Delta Help Center.
They'll
like, when you
typically have the info before it gets put on the board. You know,
Yeah.
that's sometimes the last. So if the woman's just like, I see the board, it's like, yeah, I get inside info.
Yeah.
But
Well,
how'd this pan out?
well, not only did we take the lounge, leave the lounge and get into the shuttle, but the shuttle stopped because there was some taxiing going on, and
Oh, sure, yeah.
I had the super obnoxious chick in the back going, "Come on, come on, come on, we're gonna miss our flight."
That'll make it
and,
faster.
and she's just, it was all,
Anxious.
all of it. But we ended up getting onto the flight. We ended up, I don't know, landing about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, like two.
2. Of course, the car service is long gone.
Oh yeah, how you
Because
thumb it?
like we were late, so they do that thing. The car service world that you'd think would be a little more precise, I have found not that precise.
Especially when dealing with incoming aircraft.
Well,
like,
yeah,
is
they
it not
can
late
look.
often?
Yeah.
I don't know, with the advent of the smartphone and computers, seems like you could check and track all that stuff, but they were long gone. So then Mike got on the phone. It's about 2:15. And this is all, by the time we get to the hotel, by the time we check in, by the time we get to the room, and then, the early call so I'm pretty much broken at this point. I did do this, and we can circle back to Mike August. Mike August, quietly today, all my years of travel with Mike, was thinking of you, Brian.
Sure.
May have pulled off one of his it's a top 5 Mike August travel move.
Ooh.
You mean, wait, that could either mean most Mike August move or most impressive move for Mike August.
It's the most on brand for Mike August.
Okay.
This doesn't bode well.
So I am so fucking done with the COVID and the lemon and the lime slices and why those cannot be put on an aircraft. Although you can get them at the Delta Lounge.
Yes.
It's just not safe to fly with them.
Right.
Everyone knows
At that
that.
altitude.
So I pack my own lemon juice now.
Smart.
I went to the fridge and I got my own lemon juice. And then I did this. I looked at the bottom and said 4.25 ounces. And I was like, okay, what are the rules? Are we at 3.5? Are we 3.8? Are we 3.7? And it used to be, because this has happened to me many times, and this is where the science kicks into overdrive, when you have the toothpaste, it says 4.0 ounces on it, but it's 3.7 is the max. But the toothpaste is almost expired. Like
Sure. It's
way
clearly
less.
depleted.
There's nothing
It's
left.
rolled up at
There's
the bottom.
less than an ounce in this thing, and it's like, I don't care. Throw it away.
Yeah.
It says 4.0.
And this is 3.4 you can fly with.
Oh, God.
3.4.
Yeah.
So
Why
now
are you flaunting the rules?
I'm in my kitchen, and I have this little
flouting.
thing of lemon juice. It says 4.25.
Oh boy.
I think to myself, and I shake it. It's less than half full. But I'm like, that doesn't matter to these
No, no,
fucking
That's not their
Neanderthals.
logic. Yeah.
These Luddites are going to fucking try to get me to throw this shit away. So I start thinking, should I squeeze some of it into like a little clear container,
Oh,
the
yeah,
travel container?
yeah.
But then every once in a while, I'll catch myself and go, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we doing? I said, fuck it. It's less than half full. It says 4.2. I'm throwing it in my bag. I throw it in my bag. I sail right through.
Oh.
I give myself a nice order a cocktail on the plane.
Okay.
Just for fun.
Yeah. 'cause
Why
you
not?
got it.
'Cause you can.
How about a lemon wedge with that sweet pea? And she's like, we're not able to.
I know.
problemo.
I know you're not.
I got you covered. Gave myself a little shot of love. I think Max Pata, I may have buffed out behind me.
Yeah.
What'd you want? You wanted some lemon squeeze?
Yeah.
You got the stuff?
Yeah, I got a vodka soda, and I thought, okay, I saw Adam squirting some lemon juice into his
Yeah.
drink, and I thought, oh, he brought his lemon juice. Let's have him share the wealth here. So I ordered a vodka soda,
Spread
and
it
then
around.
and then I tap Adam on the shoulder. I'm like, hey man,
Sitting
And
right behind me.
yeah, I'm sitting right directly behind him. I'm like, hey, can I get a hit of that
You
lemon?
got the juice.
And then Adam turns around and hands me this. And it's a pack of True Lime crystallized
Oh,
lime
that's
powder.
the stuff they give you on the plane.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm in first class. I had to keep the hooch for the first class
That
customers.
is fucked up.
Fucking great.
So I handed him the powdered lime. Hey,
my
better than
God.
no lime, right?
Is it? Jesus.
I used it.
So we Mike had a
Just turned it inside out. and licked it.
unnerving call with the folks that were supposed to send the car who'd forgotten all about it. You know, it's 2:30.
No.
We're
done.
Nashville. Nobody's around, and Mike's pissed, and I'm tired, and we got to
Chris
get
is
up
hungry.
at 7 in the morning, and blah blah blah. Now, the most Mike move, but I'm curious everyone's take on this. Mike travels with a large size container of like
Box cutters.
Robitussin
Beef jerky.
cough syrup.
Oh, okay.
It's the family size
Oh,
one.
for everybody.
You've seen the small ones and the travel ones.
Right.
He travels with the big one,
Okay.
and that thing is full. And the last few times we've been traveling, his bag gets flagged. It gets pulled out. They have to undo it and they have to test it. They don't throw it away.
They don't, because it's medicine?
They rub it on their gums.
Oh, again, between going through clear with Sonny in Denver and he's 14, he's got to come out of line. Like, I don't know what the rules really are. And I don't know that they know
Does
what the
anyone?
rules
Yeah.
really are. I mean, I'm traveling with the 4.2 ounces
Right.
of lemon. Mike's got the 13 ounces of Robitussin. It's unclear, but they're not going to throw it away. They're not going to make you drink it. They're going to test it. There must be some for medication or something
imagine
like
so.
that.
Yeah, it is.
So, of course, Chris and I have to wait because we're going through and Mike's getting his shit tested. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. Last time we traveled, you had your shit tested. And then I thought, Mike, you don't have a hacking cough. Like, what's with the Robitussin all the time? And he's like, nah, but sometimes.
Yeah.
And I said, well, but do you
How bad does it get?
Enough for 5 people?
do you use it? And he's like, nah, but I like to know it's there.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. I said, well, Mike, then why don't you just get the small travel size?
Sure.
It's enough for 5 tablespoons if you're needed on the road, or just get one of those travel containers and put it in the 4-ounce container or the 3.5 so you can travel with it. And he's like, why?
Oh.
And I said,
So we could not do what we're doing right now.
because they have an ounce thing. It's like you can't go over like 3.5 or 4 ounces. They'll flag you. And he goes, really?
Oh, my God.
When did that start?
That's on brand.
Mike,
Around 2001.
Mike, that's all there is. I mean,
Same
that's,
time as Harkin a box cutter.
I've had this thought 7,000 times about this, pouring it into that. I had to go. I said, Mike, you've heard me do my act on stage 25 times where I'm telling the story about my 7-ounce flask and having to dump half of it out and get it to 3.5. Well, what do you think all that stuff was? He's like, I don't know. I'm paying attention.
Oh, my God.
He was eating.
So, Mike, you're traveling with the family-sized jug of Robitussin. You don't need it, but you like to have it in case you might take a shot every 5th trip. And this whole thing about the ounces and too big and getting pulled out every time no bell went off about, and he's like, I thought they just had to check it because it was medicine or something. I was like,
How about just the
wow.
efficiency of carrying the large bottle around when a small 1-ounce thing will do?
According to the New York Times, this rule has been in place since August of 2006.
Well, Mike is a pack animal, and as you know, he commandeers the carts.
Right.
So the extra weight,
That's
not
true.
a thing for him. It's
He's a
really
hoarder.
just ballast. I think he feels like he has more control over the cart
Sure.
with a little extra
Sure.
weight down low,
But I understand the Dumbo feather thing. Like, well, if I have it, then I can kind of trick my brain into thinking I'm fine. Trust me, I've done that with Xanax a million times on a plane. But he doesn't need enough for the whole plane.
Yeah, that's the absurd amount.
The point is these smaller travel containers that were 4 ounces or 3.5 and under, whatever. And just the fact that there was a regulation that you could not travel with more than that.
For the past 15
Yeah.
years.
no idea.
All virgin words to Mike's ears. Who, by the way, has no plans of modifying this behavior
Oh, no.
at all. He's going out the jug of Robitussin that he does not use. Have you ever heard him cough or seen him
Never.
take a hit off it?
Just one sneeze.
One glorious
Out of
sneeze.
nowhere.
Just one sneeze out of nowhere.
No one could have predicted.
I got another Mike. I'll skip ahead, but I do have another Mike August beef, and this is literally beef. And you guys tell me. We went to bourbon steakhouse.
But why Robitussin? It's so specific for cops. Why not NyQuil? Like, God forbid he gets a sniffle or you know what I mean, an ear problem. Like,
Brian,
it can solve somebody's
you've
problems.
driven with August when he's not impaired on NyQuil. Do you want him on NyQuil and driving?
The substance, the liquid that was held within the 13-ounce container, neither here nor there to me.
Obviously.
I'm not judging that. I don't know what his medication is. I don't know what he wants to use it for.
But he needs all of it.
But it's the size. It's the size
He needs
of
the
it.
jug.
We should just get him some travel. Don't they, when you go to the,
they make
the
travel
supermarket?
size.
Yeah, we should go the other way and get him like a handle of Robitussin.
He practically has that. So just to skip ahead with the beef and the Mike August, you guys tell me. So we have a very long day. We do Daily Wire in the morning. We're there for about 5 hours, and then we end up at the Ryman Auditorium, which is storied. I don't know. We have pictures of the wall, and the wall of Johnny Cash and Hank Williams and Minnie Pearl, and I mean this place.
Adam Carolla, all the greats.
Yes,
all the country legends.
I mean the story of the Ryman. It's about a 3,000 seater. It's right in the middle of Nashville, and it is old and storied. I think it used to be a church, but Dawson will brief us on that.
Yeah, it opened as a church in 1892.
Wow.
Then from 1943 to 1974, it was the home of the Grand Ole Opry. Dolly Parton, Tammy Wynette, Loretta Lynn, Hank Williams received 6 encores in one night. Bill Monroe, Patsy Cline. The live radio shows at the Grand Ole Opry featured Elvis Presley, Minnie Pearl, Hank Williams. Most episodes of the ABC variety series The Johnny Cash Show were recorded there. The birthplace of bluegrass.
Damn.
And included in the National Register of Historic Places in 1971, designated as a National Historic Landmark in 2001 for its pivotal role in popular country music.
It's a beautiful, beautiful venue. It was great going out on stage there. The place was sold out.
The pews are still in
pews. They still left the pews.
It looks like a mega church. It's huge, and it's considered the soul of Nashville.
The stained glass.
Yeah.
It's fantastic going on stage there. And Minnie Pearl's real name, much more involved. Chris will find it. Minnie Pearl's real name.
Yeah, it's Sarah Ophelia Colley Cannon.
She got 4 names. Yeah. All right. So many pictures of dead people on the walls, and but a lot of history in that place, obviously. So it was a thrill to go out there. Played great set, great crowd. Everything was great. I don't know, Max, do you have any of that footage of?
Yeah. So the what happened was Jeremy, who co-founded the Daily Wire, he did a musical number, and that was a kind of a surprise. But the big surprise was actually Adam. Nobody knew in the audience knew that Adam was going to be there. They weren't even going to announce him. They just told him as soon as the band's done, just walk out on stage. So we have some video of that.
That was my feeling. Like they're like, walk out on stage when the band's done.
They're all warmed up now.
We'll bring the curtain. We'll draw the curtain closed, and then you just walk out on stage. And I was like, well, aren't they going to be confused? Like, they don't know I'm going to be here, and I don't know who knows who I am. I mean, I don't know who's going to recognize me.
What are they ostensibly there for? To see the band?
They're there for the big Daily Wire backstage extravaganza that they do once a year over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're not even like announcing you when you come out.
No, so I'm sort of like, well, what do I do? And Mike's like, well, go up there and say, hi, I'm Johnny Cash. No, he said, hello, I'm Johnny Cash. No, he said, go out there and go, hi, I'm Adam Carolla, because otherwise it might just be a lot of people looking at you.
Who's that guy? Well, it's a big venue, too. Like, I'm looking from where the picture's taken, the balcony clearly, and it's like, no idea who's up there.
Yeah, I don't like
no
this.
idea if anyone's up there.
This makes me very uncomfortable.
I never do, but we'll play you what happened when I walked out there.
Nope. Here he goes. Cheers are still going.
Norm
Thank God.
McDonald's ghost.
Hey.
Standing.
Trying to get a better look at who it is.
The place went nuts. I'm Adam Carolla. Wow. All right. I got this standing ovation. I just
Thank
walked
God.
out there. I was like, they didn't know it was me. They must put me up on the Jumbotron or something.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, okay, good.
Nice.
This is a good way to get started. I was like, no one was doing stand up. It wasn't. I was like, I'm going to go out there and do stand up in front of this group that doesn't know I'm going to go out there and do stand up. And I don't know if they're in my demo, but I got a standing O just from walking out, which is crazy. So that felt good. The set was great. Everything was great. We'll circle back a little, but we did end up at Bourbon, the steakhouse, up on the top floor. We've been there a few times. They always treat us great. They could throw out extra stuff for us. Everything is
Top floor of what?
wonderful. Of the hotel,
Okay.
sorry. In Nashville, is it the Marriott?
JW Marriott.
Yeah, JW Marriott. And it's great. It's also great. It's great to eat and then go down 3 floors and go to your room
Yes, it
and
is.
crash out. But a
Rich man.
little controversy. They took care of us. Everything was fantastic. The chef made you these and that. But we're trying to figure out what we're eating. And at some point, Mike looks at me and he goes, how about we split the surf and turf? And I said, sounds good. Lobster, Wagyu, right?
Ooh,
it's
nice.
like, I go, yeah. Well, look, I've been traveling my ass off. Just crushed it that night at the theater.
Treat yourself,
Couldn't
son.
have gone any better. And we got to be in the lobby at 5:30.
Yeah.
I'm fucking treating myself.
Yeah.
So I goes, all right, so we'll split the surf and turf. And I go, okay. And Chris orders a steak and we get all our stuff. And at some point, the plate shows up in front of me. And it's a smallish piece of beef with lots of pieces of lobster, size of smallish grapes broken
knew
up.
it.
And a crazy hollandaise kind of cream cheese sauce, just a pile over the beef, over
Like
the
a
everything.
gravy.
It's Nashville lobster.
And I was sort of like, well, it was good, but I was like, Mike, I thought we were splitting the surf and turf. He's like, yeah, this is what it is. And I'm like, well, he had the menu. And I was like, Mike, if you're going to say you want to split the surf, and I'm picturing a lobster
full
tail
lobster,
and a piece
yeah.
of steak,
piece
and
of
we're going
butter.
to, not this pile of white that's on top of this plate right now, little bits of lobster. And he's like, well, that's the, Mike does it. That's the way they do it. And I'm like,
don't take their side.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just saying, give me the heads up. Don't just say surf and turf because I'm not picturing this.
I do
Yeah.
appreciate the lobster meat, you know what I mean? Because that's nice. They do it for you. You're not fishing around this goddamn thing, wrestling with it. But the mayonnaise or cream cheese or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
but it's not like you're getting, here's your plate of lobster, here's your plate of steak. Like, how do you even split that?
Surf and turf.
Right.
This was
Not
turf
surf,
and
turf.
surf, and
Yeah.
it was all put in a Cuisinart. And look, it was good.
That's not the point.
It's just not what I thought I was ordering.
Yeah.
That's all. I feel like Mike should have given me a little heads up.
Well, that's how Mike does it.
Dude,
That's how Mike
he never
does
heard
it.
of surf and turf.
Also,
Yeah.
just to go back
Oh,
to the
topped with, you got it.
Oh.
Maine lobster béarnaise. That
The
was
béarnaise. You
That's
didn't
what
get
did
the-
it. Yes.
Also, can we just please point out, because I don't think this gets enough attention, Adam, you are not meant to go in an airport lounge. So if
That's
you,
true.
the second you give it up and you
Oh.
accept your fate, maybe you'll start to be let in. But if you keep dreaming about it, it's always going to be out of reach for you for some reason.
It's like Donnie Darko with the alternate universe.
Yes.
It's like the alternate timeline. It's like, this is not supposed to be. We need to
Right.
get back to the original. They're constantly trying to, the universe spiritually is constantly trying to push you out like a splinter in the finger of society.
This is your
Yes.
final destination. You're not supposed to get there.
I know. I ended up spending like 13 minutes in the lounge
course.
because soon as, but something I've never seen in a lounge is the chick who was guarding the door. It's always sold to me that you and a guest get in the lounge. You show the black card, you and a guest get in the lounge. It's never me and a guest. It's just me, and then
Right.
they can pay $65. But she looked up at the screen and she's like, yeah, you guys got to hit that shuttle in like 12 minutes. And then I was like, what about the guest? Well, he has to pay. And then she just looked at Mike and looked at me and looked at the screen and went, oh, go ahead.
Wow.
Like, how much cheese you going to eat? And she didn't know.
Challenge accepted.
So,
So the ticketing agent gave Chris the wrong inside info?
Well, she
Yes.
gave Mike the wrong inside info,
And confirmed
then
Well,
it.
and then I went to confirm it, and then confirmed it with me.
that's brutal.
so they gave both the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
right?
There's no, you
Yeah.
can't trust anybody.
Yeah, so I actually went. I was getting nervous because it just wasn't changing, and we were just minutes before boarding. And I went to a different ticketing agent and asked her, and she confirmed that we had to take the shuttle.
So it was crazy, and then we met down in the lobby at Nashville about 5:45 this morning.
This morning.
almost got into a fist fight with a construction worker when we were trying to drop Mike off at his car. Couldn't get the hell out of the parking lot with the ticket.
Here
in L.A.
Yeah, here in L.A. Sorry, had to have the person come out who didn't speak any English and try to figure out how to feed it into the machine. Lots of controversy. And I got that. Also, what else we got, Max Pato? What am I missing from this trip?
You didn't get bothered with the mask stuff a lot.
Oh, it was a zero. Yeah. The Delta flight on the way in and on the way out was kind of zero futzing with the mask. No conversations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's either a lot or a little or somewhere in between. This was Atlanta-based flight crew, which I like to
Delta.
figure out where they're from. Watch out for the Seattle base, but the Atlanta base, no, didn't have a problem. And she felt bad because she ran out of the food for me and Mike in the back of first class.
Of course she did.
Because I don't think there's a new thing that's going on. Well, not new.
How do you run out? There's a fixed number of seats.
It's old. Well, okay. So here's how first class used to work, and it always drove me nuts. They would go, you'd take a first class wide body to New York, and first class was first class, like hot food, warm it up,
silverware,
and silverware, yeah, the whole 9 yards. And first class on like a 777, I don't know, could have been 30 seats. You know, it was pretty deep, or 747, like a wide body plane. And they would do the same thing. They would do it every time. They'd go, let's see. I made a note here what I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. So they go, if you sat in the back of first class, you'd be reading the menu. They'd give you the menu and they go, well, they got the prime rib or they got the cold salmon salad. And you go, well, fuck that. I'm getting the prime rib, man. Well, guess what? Everyone else on that fucking plane is having that thought simultaneously. Like, I want the prime rib.
Right.
I don't want the cold salmon salad. But they packed enough prime rib for 60% of people to get the prime rib and 30% to get their 40% to get the salad. But if the fucking you get some carnivores on that plane and you're in the back of first class, by the time they get to you, you go, I'll have the prime. Oh,
You'll
we're
have
out of
to
the.
give you.
The prime rib has been spoken for as it got to the back of first class, and we had that with the charcuterie box. Today, the charcuterie platter. They were plumb out of charcuterie by the time they got to the
Lunchables?
They're out of Lunchables by the time they got to the back where Mike and I were in the second and last seat to be asked. We're in the back and to the left, and they were out of that. So instead, they just had the boxes. Now, the boxes are funny. I just love how people do their jobs. Like the chicks was like, we got the boxes. Which one you want? I'm like, I don't know which one we have. Well, we have the take flight box and we have the keep it grounded box. And Mike and I are going, yeah, but what's in the box? I fucking memorized all the names of the fucking contents of the names. So she just looks at us and she goes, you want the take flight box and want to keep it a grounded box? I go, I have no idea what's in the box. And then she goes, she had no idea what was in the box, which, again, it's that thing where you work somewhere and that's kind of all you do all day. Like, if I manage that, I'd be like, here's a box. Here's what I'd say. So fucking 4-hour flight. Like the first day the box came. So 4-hour flight. You're in that jump seat for 3. Here's each box. Commit to memory. What is inside of each box? There's only 4 items in each box. Fucking commit to it. So she went, I'll just give you both boxes.
All right.
So she just came back. Which,
it's
by the
easier
way,
than...
It's like when you order the Wonder Mop and they go, act now and we'll throw in another one for free. It's like, oh, it's not worth anything.
Right.
There's no value to this box. She just handed a huge stack of boxes to me and Michael. Like, there you go. Like, the work of having to tell us what was in the box was more work than actually just handing us boxes.
The people are too close to their brands sometimes, especially when they're these big behemoth brands that have no identity whatsoever. Like, you'll get people, especially in this town, entertainment, go like, oh, that's an NBC show, yeah, or it's a CBS show. And you're like, how the fuck would anyone know that? Like, I have no fucking idea what like Seinfeld was an NBC, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the average, or like, oh, that's a Paramount movie. Or it's a, you can see it, it's a Fox movie.
We get it. You're an insider. What about the rest of us?
No one knows what that means.
Yeah.
Any movie could be from anywhere.
Well,
Or then the nut box is the same. Or the
yeah,
the
we
box.
just got the boxes. I just put them in my backpack because I figure if I break down or something, I can eat them on the way
I'll take a
home.
wild stab. Some sort of like non-cracker crisp, like a rye crisp, some spreadable cheese,
Well,
some granola,
If
a cookie.
If
Yeah.
birthday boy Ryan wants to run to my car at the other
Oh,
shop,
happy
they're in my
birthday.
backpack. Yeah, but hey,
All you can eat.
Celebrate how you celebrate. They're both in the back, so we can reach for those. All right, we'll figure that out. First, I'll tell you about Simply Safe wireless outdoor security camera. Big news: Simply Safe just launched their new wireless outdoor security camera. The system, U.S. News and World Report, named Best Home Security at 2021. Well, it just got better. Engineered with advanced tech and security features to help keep your family safe. Ultra wide 140-degree field of view to keep watch over your entire yard. 1080p HD resolution, 8 times zoom so you can see faces and critical evidence, license plate numbers and things like that. Built-in spotlight, two-way audio so you can scare off the would-be intruders. Simply Safe, it's easy to set up, just takes minutes, easy to remove, rechargeable battery. Doesn't even need an outlet. And to learn more, you can go to simplysafe.com/Adam. And they're celebrating the camera by offering 20% off your entire new system and your first month of monitoring service free when you enroll in interactive monitoring. So go to simplysafe.com/Adam. All right, quick break. We'll be back right after this. All right, I'll get you the contents of the box. We had almost had to throw down on the road today on the way home. So
Did August beat somebody on the side of the road again?
it was close. It got close. We landed. So we were out till 12:30. Then now, by the way, it's not like we slept the night before.
No, you're on the plane.
So we were out till 12:30. We're meeting in the lobby at 5:30. Got on the flight. Everything was good except for the boxes.
We'll be the
Landed,
judge of that.
and
This is all karma for you handing me a packet of lemon powder or lime powder.
lime powder, bitch.
I agree. Yuck.
Hey, it's twice as much lime powder as you had at the beginning of that day.
I was grateful.
God.
Yeah, lemon was good going back too, bro.
Adam did the thing too, where like 15 minutes later, it's like, all right, here's some lime. Like I finished my drink.
It's done. How dare
Oh,
you?
did I offer you the lemon at the
Yeah,
end
you
of the-
did. You offered me a squeeze
lemon
when I
back?
had it. As I was
loosened
giving my
yourself
cup away
up.
to the lady to throw away.
So we were driving. We were trying to get out of the parking lot at LAX, and of course, I was just pushing the card into the thing, not the credit card, but the parking
Yeah.
thing.
Ticket, yeah.
And it was not having any of it. I wasn't me. I don't think Max bad. It wasn't taking the card. It wasn't the.
It wasn't. I was looking at it too. It's just confusing. Like where there are all these different slots and barcode scanners.
Right.
And then they have
Which way?
They have crazy Albanian chicks who like come by, and she's like, "What is it?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they always do. They give me the card, and then they try to push it through, and then it doesn't
They're
do anything.
confused.
And then at some point, she's got to get on the phone.
Yeah,
now I don't know what we need her for. If all she's going to do is get on the phone.
Yeah, she clicks the help button, and then someone like an attendant on the like a speaker. just
Can't
comes
we
up.
deputize her? You know what I mean? Like
To
she's
make
on
some
the
decisions?
ground.
Yeah.
Can she make a business decision
Pull that
there? Take a
arm?
credit card, figure something out. So she's on there and she's trying to read the card, and of course she's got her dates all fucked up.
Yeah.
She can't figure out if we've been there for 2 days or a month and 2 days because she doesn't know what month we're in.
Oh, boy.
She's reporting
This
back
is-
to the guy where this is September.
These are dark
Her
days.
Mike's in the back saying, that'd be $14,000 because I got his credit card at this point. She's on the phone.
Hand over the deed to the car.
Right. The deed.
That's right.
So,
The title, the notice.
What are you, the
title,
kit?
yeah. So she's on the phone with another guy, and that's a rigmarole. And I'm like, all right, I'm going off of fumes at this point. Mike's in the back. Chris is in the front. Mike's in the back because we're going to drop him off. Now, Mike is parked at the remote parking place with the unnecessary left turn arrow that never changes. So, as you guys know, protocol, I don't turn left into that. I just go right down Sentinel or whatever, Century. I drop him off on the corner at
Yeah.
the light, and he walks across, and I
Oh, you don't
Pull
even
a
bother to
U-turn.
take him to his
No.
destination?
He probably slowed the
Let
car
him
down.
walk. So now there's this thing, and I'll try to explain it. When you're leaving the airport, you're driving down Century, I guess it's like the main street that goes to the airport. If you get to the light with the crazy unnecessary left turn arrow. By the way, it's the longest, straightest piece of highway on the planet.
You can see the
Can't we
horizon.
just deputize people to turn left
Yeah.
when they can turn left, like they do whatever? Okay. So I'm like, I'm not going to wait at that. I'm a conscientious objector. I'm not waiting at that fucking light. So instead, if you go left, you'll go to the parking. You go to the hotel and the parking. But the street goes, you can turn right on it too, but it doesn't go anywhere. It just goes right to the construction area. There's a little turnaround alcove where they have to sort of bivouac with the construction. They're doing all this construction, and they need a place to park the trucks and drop off the equipment and supplies. And so they take this staging type area.
Sure.
So no human being driving down Century is turning right, because the only people turning right are construction
Sure.
people, and there's nobody around.
Right.
And everyone who's been to the airport is going to the parking, and they're all turning left. So I'm like, look, I'm just going to turn right, turn in a little. I don't want to block anybody. Tuck in, stop, and tell Mike to jump out at the light. And so I pull in, I stop. I kind of realize, I hate all the locks and the doors and the fines. So I put it in park real fast, because I know sometimes if it's in drive, the person's fine. So I put it in park, and Mike's about to get out, and there's a big old honk on the back door. On the back of the car, big honk. And I look in the rear view, and as luck would have it, a construction guy driving a construction truck is wanting to turn into
What are
that
the
street.
chances?
Blocking him.
Not very good in that exact moment, but he stops. So he honks, and I do the, okay. And I go to give it gas, but I realize, I'm in park.
Sure.
So then I'm like, now I'm in park.
But he's just laying
on the horn.
You're
And I'm
revving.
like, Mike, just jump out. And Mike jumps out, and this guy just swings out around us, jumps out of the car, starts coming at us, like waving
Holy
his
shit.
hands. I mean, first off, we held him up all of 12 seconds, maybe.
So he was slightly delayed in making his
Slightly
right
delayed,
turn?
and on the clock, as Chris kept
That's a good point.
pointing out. And also, it's like nobody who's turning in there could ever think that someone would be behind. It's not a thoroughfire. Like it's a dead end. It's just
You
there.
either made some sort of mistake, or you're moving quickly.
Yeah, you're just. And by the way, there's context. There are guys getting out of the car. Like we're getting someone out of the car.
Straight from the airport. How often does that happen? Where someone's like, where am I going? Let me check Waze. I don't want to do it safely.
On the horn, once he got on the horn, Mike just jumped out, and we just pulled ahead real quick.
But
Got out of his car.
Wow.
Out of the car.
Menacing.
Wearing the outfit. You know, I mean, it's the kind of thing where I could have went like, who do you work for? Like, what? Give me your badge number. Like, you threatened someone who came to the air. Like, you're getting out of your company truck and like threatening people, weary travelers.
Quite the contrast to your reception just 12 hours earlier.
Yes.
On stage.
Quite a contrast in receptions from Nashville to L.A. Got out, not a big guy. I'm always surprised. I think from what I hear about Max Zapata and Mike, what I know about Mike and, my training, I think we could have handled him quite easily.
My first thought, I was like, am I going to have to fight this guy?
Go for the
Adam's
knees.
honor.
Oh, jeez.
He got out. He was, I don't know, what was he, 40, goatee?
Yeah.
Had a little Napoleon thing going for
Yeah,
him.
totally.
Axe to grind.
Seemed to be in good shape, ready to fight.
Played linebacker in high school in the late 90s.
It was he was working, which was kind of weird. Like I put it this way: I've seen many an LAX worker that holds the sign that says stop or yield, just sitting on their Coleman cooler.
Oh, yeah.
just staring with
Sure.
those doll eyes.
You bring a chair.
No one seems to be in a particular hurry. We met the one guy who's working at LAX who's like, fucking, where's the fire?
Hey, you're wasting taxpayer money, bub. They're paying my salary. I'll be damned if I want to screw them.
I mean, we pulled up immediately. Mike jumps out. We pull up, and he's still out of the truck, turned back to us, throwing his arms around and like menacing us.
Ironically, is he not blocking traffic?
No, because he has
slid
pulled
in.
into the little enclave
Okay.
there to the right, just as we did. But as Brian there must be 1,000 Uber drivers who are checking their ways
Right.
who
Or just
pull into
rental
that
car
thing,
people,
or rental
or-
car people, or whatever. Like,
Well, we know August is just looking for a reason to beat some ass sometimes. So what happened?
Mike.
Mike needs bail.
Mike was completely oblivious. He
Aw.
jumped out. I saw his back in the rear view, and he was hightailing it
Damn
for
it.
his car. So he left us to fend for ourselves. I had a momentary thought about getting out of the car just because it's something I would have done 10 years ago.
Going, man show.
But I was so fucking sleep deprived.
Yeah.
It seemed like such a waste of time. Wow. So we just moved on. But I've not seen that short a fuse. And it wasn't a thing where like we bumped him
Right.
or I made fun of his old lady or anything. It was just we're just trying to turn in and let somebody out on the corner. It was essentially like it was like you're turning right, and instead of turning right and going ahead 100 feet and stopping, you turn right and go hop out.
Right.
Like we're at the corner.
Right.
You can get out here.
Adam, when I got my speeding ticket, I recently just finished traffic school, online traffic school.
Mazel tov.
A huge portion of it was dedicated to road rage.
Oh, really?
A weirdly large portion dedicated.
It was
to-
targeted, Chris.
Yeah, it might have been, but I just picked a random.
Last week when I was on my way here, I did end up calling that dude's company since his license number and all that shit was on
Oh,
the door.
right.
So if you want to hand this over to me, I'll take care of it
If
after
you're
the
in the
show.
mode.
Seriously. Oh, here's your boxes, by the way.
Yes.
Can I open them?
You tell us what is in each.
There's one
They're
ground
shrink-wrapped.
and one.
What are they? There's the
Bistro
bistro.
and market.
Yeah, so that's her going, what do you guys want, the bistro or the market? And we're like, I have not memorized the contents of your boxes.
Okay.
You should probably see that one coming,
Yeah, of
too.
course.
You know? It's not, by the way, they don't have paper menus or anything anymore. Like, you can't look at stuff.
Because they're around it all day. To them, it's like, oh, this is just something everyone knows.
Yeah, it's white noise. So far, I think I was pretty much on the money. Let's try the bistro first.
Speaking of white noise, the gal, the Atlanta-based flight crew, was calling it a charcuterie
Charcuterie.
platter. I feel
love
like
that.
another flight attendant. I don't know. I don't think it's a hate crime to tap that person on the shoulder after she said times 30 flights. You know,
Like,
charcuterie.
yeah.
We just call it charcuterie.
Sure.
All right, here's the.
They should
this
call
is
it
the
meat and
bistro.
cheese.
This is the bistro.
All
Aha.
right.
Just like I said, a smoked Gouda spread.
Okay.
Fake-
Cheese product.
Weird fake cheese
Yep.
product.
A kind bar.
Hexagonal container.
A salted caramel granola bar.
All kind
Yeah.
of.
Kind. Couple of Tic Tacs for your troubles. 2 Oreos.
Don't like honestly when you're being processed into a prison facility. Is there a toothbrush in there? Because I just feel like I got to take a delousing shower before I get into that thing. Like I feel like this is what they hand you with your pajamas when they're taking your shoes away when you're being processed.
Yeah. And thus stops the recognizable brand names.
Yes.
We have an old Wisconsin snack stick, which is a beef jerky.
Piece of meat.
We have a Deep River potato chips.
And I'll tell you the worst. The worst too is you go. It's a 4.5 hour flight, and you go. I'm not eating any of that
Yep.
shit. All empty
I'm just
carbs.
eating
Just
ju-
all
just
empty
the
carbs.
cheese and the meat, that's
just
it.
And
the
it's hardly
cheese and the
cheesy
meat.
meat.
Couple of cocktails. 3 hours later.
I mean,
Fuck it. Give me
chips
those
are-
chips.
Chips of oil.
Right.
The Albanese Ultimate Gummy Bears with 8 flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right
the
up for Tessa.
Partners Slow Baked Crackers. I think I was on the money.
I will
Here's-
say that while
yeah.
that stuff is mostly crap, at least there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
You get a lot
it's
for your
chock
money.
full. Here's the market bag. Pacific Gold beef jerky.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
we're
the one
talking.
Mike
Sea
got
salt
into.
almonds.
Maybe a little more
Yeah.
of a keto situation.
Sea salt veggie chips, which are a lie.
Yeah, that's a lot. But at least they're trying.
Oh yeah, the minis, which is like a egg white almond cashew bar, a Ghirardelli piece of chocolate, and a that's it apples and bananas fruit bar.
Yeah. You know, the thing about it's funny when after you talk to Vinny
So that's the healthy
and
one.
you start getting into Vinny and they go, this bar is just bananas and strawberries and nothing else. And they're like, that's bad.
That's not gonna
Yeah,
help
that's a
them.
lot of bananas and
not
strawberries.
good. All right. Let's see. We got a call here. Phil, 49, San Diego.
Hey, Ace Man, Gina Bolt, how you doing?
Hey.
Good. You got some rich man, poor man?
I do. I've got a couple. I'll throw them out there, and when they get boring, you can tell me to quit.
All right.
All right. My first one is your dad is a professional athlete.
Oh, we're
You're the
good.
kid he knows about or the kid he doesn't know about.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's good.
All right. On that same note, a basketball player has fallen into your lap during a game. So you're Spike Lee or you're Pookie down at the city court.
Oh, like courtside of the streets.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Thinker.
How about performing a medical procedure on a family member? So you're doing a nip tuck on your sister-in-law because you're a plastic surgeon, or you pulled your kid's wisdom teeth out with a pair of pliers.
It's good. It's good.
All right. Your casket is taken to the graveyard by a horse and carriage.
That's not bad.
That's
That's not bad at
that's
all.
a killer.
You're
That's
Amish
good.
or you're
Royalty.
You're 110
Right.
years old.
Right.
Yeah, you're Kennedy or you're Amish.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't know how to use Ring doorbell. So either
The help does it.
yeah,
or-
I don't think Trump knows how to use a Ring doorbell, and probably the guy living down in the tent down the street doesn't either.
Right. It's good.
Probably has one by now.
Constantly ask strangers for money. I feel like there's a lot of homeless that ask for money, but so does celebrities asking for their charity causes.
And the guys that run the mega churches and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff too.
Fun
The
raising
strangers
efforts.
make it because everyone has their family,
Right.
family for money or whatever.
Hey, this is Phil. Are we? How many more do we have?
I could do maybe 4 more if you want.
All right.
Being escorted by the police. So you're
Yeah.
you're going to your concert because you're performing, or you're being told to leave because the store's closed and
Sure.
you can't stay here.
Right.
Well,
Good.
no place there.
You tear down and rebuild your house.
Like
So
you
you're
physically.
you're a rich guy who just tore the house down and rebuilt it, or you
Yeah.
got one of
You're
those little
lean-to.
shacks downtown that you're just under patio and tear
Coasting
down and
will
rebuild.
stop.
All
diminishing
right. Let's
returns.
bring it home.
Okay, is that it? All right, thanks, man.
That was really good.
Those
No,
are mostly
there were
really
some good ones
the,
in there.
the horse-drawn carriage was
I
great.
like that. Yeah.
And listen, what people need to know about jokes and comedy, take it from a guy who wrote 700,000 jokes for the Oscars and got 2.5 of them on the air. That's a good batting
Right.
average.
That-
Like,
that's
if you-
good.
if you
300.
get- if you
Yield.
get 2 of them that
Yeah.
work, so be it. San Antonio, Carmelo. Don't we know
Yeah,
Carmelo?
I'm talking to him a lot lately.
Carmelo?
Oh, what's up, Ace? Yeah, sorry, dude. I had to call in. I called in about the runaway from the pussy story last week, but I was saving this one for you. So I'm an electrician. I work on a big job down here in San Antonio. I've been on this construction site for going on 3 years.
Wow.
And it's a big one. It's like, I don't want to name too much, but it's a huge corporation, the worldwide. You can't say too much about them. And they're all about the woke shit. So, Lord and behold, about a week after last year's, Labor Day weekend, right? It was last year, Labor Day weekend, the whole, what happened. Not Labor Day weekend, I'm sorry, Memorial Day weekend. They had like this kind of whole thing that you kind of come in here and, the whole George Floyd thing happened. And, me and my buddies talk about it, but it's kind of like, oh, that's a fucking world away from us. You know what I mean? Like Minneapolis, it's way the fuck up there. What do we give a shit? Well, a week later, they
Sound
come
like
down.
Gruden
And
now.
every morning we have to meet up in this big tent, the whole job site. It's one big safety meeting in the morning.
Yeah.
And, they go over, hey, what we're doing today, all this other shit. Well, then they bring up, all right, well, we want to talk about race and we don't discriminate. And, they gave some bullshit, anti-racist quote from that Ibrahim Kendi guy on how to be an anti-racist. No, and they didn't know what the fuck they were reading. They just read off of a fucking email,
Well,
these safety guys.
listen.
Adam, I tell you, the most incompetent people on the fucking job site are the fucking safety people. My God,
Well,
these people.
because they don't possess a skill. That's
No,
number
exactly.
one. But number
My favorite
two,
line-
it's not like your company gives a shit. Everyone is just required
The
by
memo.
law with the memo and security and
Right.
insurance, and everyone. It's all liability. So everyone has to go through the
Whether-
motions.
Right. Whether it came down from the general contractor or the customer, I'm not sure of. More than likely both, because one's worldwide, one's nationwide. But usually I've seen the videos on this. You've got the one with that fat lady in the green romper or whatever she was wearing, telling Whitey how he's inherently evil and he just can't help but hate people that aren't white, and this and that. And I was kind of hoping for that. I was getting ready to, laugh my ass off. And, no, they kind of gave a speech to everybody. Then, I'm a foreman, so they said, okay, all foremen come up here. We're going to talk about what's going on, and, we're going to address this. And
Is it
they
role
said,
playing?
We want you.
How
So they
long,
go, we want you guys to address all your crews, address them. This is not going to be a comfortable topic. We're going to talk about race. And here I am thinking, Adam, you might be able to take a good guess on this. What would you, if you're a betting man, say the demographic is on a construction site in South Texas?
Well, I'd say it's almost all Hispanic. I would say.
Exactly.
Well, it's always, as I like to say, every construction site I've been on is 15 Mexicans and 3 white guys named Mike. That's basically how it works. We're telling the Mexicans what to do. It's now when you travel, you go to Georgia and stuff, you see like black crews, but out here and probably in your neck of the woods, it's probably all Hispanic, right?
Right, and that stands true. And granted, you're seeing a little bit more diversity on the job site. Like morely, I'd say as far as women go, you know what I mean? Like you're actually seeing a little bit more women out in the skilled trades with like the brazers, welders, electricians. You know what I mean?
All right, Carmelo,
anyway, they kind of get this thing going.
We have a real guest waiting to come on this show. How the hell? Who named you Carmelo?
So, I'm sorry, what was that, Ace?
Carmelo. How did you get that name?
Apparently my grandpa changed it. I don't really know much about my grandpa. My family legacy, unfortunately, probably starts with my dad. Remember, my grandpa's the drunk janitor with the government cheese and all that.
Oh, that's
really
right.
Know much about it.
That's right.
So he picked
all right, hang on, Carmelo. All right, listen. We got a big guest out there. He's here. We're going to bring him in. Talk rock and roll. I just don't have time for Carmelo. Although there was an electricians convention going on in our hotel. So
Sneak into that?
Got to talk a little shop with a little Romex versus EMT tubing with some of those guys. All right. Let's see. Let me check my list. So Chris Shiflett is coming in, a guitar player, Foo Fighters, and then other bands, and plays a lot of his own music and all that. So good guy. He's been on the show a few times. We can talk some Foo Fighters. Now I'm looking here. So the Foo Fighters are going to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame later this month.
Yeah.
So does that mean Dave Grohl's in 2 bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Wow.
That does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to, wow. We could all
badass.
probably try to figure out who, it's got to be.
I mean, Neil Young's probably in. There's a solo artist and probably CSNY,
That
right?
makes sense.
Yeah. It's
Paul
got
McCartney.
to be a few of those. And maybe
All
David
the Beatles,
Crosby.
I imagine, as individual artists.
All right, really, it's no big deal. Chris, sorry.
Come on in.
We're going to keep talking about food.
Yeah, all 3 members of Crosby, Stills, and Nash have been inducted twice.
And we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So the graduating, the class I have, these are all the people that are getting in on my list, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get into that and other things. First, there's a Geico. Do you own, do you rent? Well, you do one or the other. And then there's your automotive policy. How about you get your bundle working? Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners and renters insurance along with your automotive policy. Save a whole bunch of money. And speaking of auto, I got a little road story for you. Dawson, just fresh off his trip to the Bay Area with thoughts.
Yeah, I drive fast, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I made it from Concord, California to North Hollywood, California. 537 miles. Supposed to be, 5 hours and 40 minutes, 6 hours, depending on how many times you got to stop for gas.
Is it 540 miles?
537.
I think it's got
300. Sorry, 357.
Is that both ways?
I got dyslexic. 357.
Okay.
not
Okay. Still a long way.
537.
Got it.
All right.
My bad. And I did it in 4 hours and 22 minutes.
That's
Oh,
cooking.
2 minutes off 420.
I know.
My truck has the display where you can see
you race
your
it.
average speed. And I
gotta
wanted to
race
see
it.
if I could get that up
Yeah.
as high as I could get that up. Averaged 89 miles per hour.
Wow.
Mazel
the
tov
whole
in
way.
that big giant truck.
Had a
Good
good
time.
stretch where I was doing about 110.
Mm-hmm.
You got a radar detector?
No,
You gotta
I just
get
got
one.
eyes.
He's
and
got-
I know the 5.
All right.
Jesus, take the wheel.
and a couple of times I like to give people a chance if they can see that I'm coming up on them and they're I'm in the right lane to pass, they're going to move over. I like to give them a chance, but I'm not waiting for you.
Yeah.
If you're not making that move, I'm throwing my blinker on. I'm giving you plenty of room to let you know that I'm getting around you. Do not stand in my way. Well, I do get behind this one guy in one of those big Sprinter vans, big Sprinter camper vans, and we're passing a semi. So, I let the guy have his thing. As we're going, he's not moving over. He's not moving over. There's plenty of room to let me go by. He saw me come up fast behind him. Okay, turn on my blinker, leave it on for a couple seconds, go to make my move. As soon as I go to make my move, dude throws on his blinker and starts trying to get into my lane.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I got my foot on the pedal. I fly right by him. Look back in my rear view mirror, and of course, the full finger comes out. No knuckles. No knuckles. The
Max
full
extension.
finger.
Full finger.
And I just kind of shake my head. I do not have a problem with road rage. I get out of the way. You want to be angry? Be angry. I'm not traffic. I'm driving,
listen,
getting out of the
when
way.
I'm
Newsom
when
thinks
I'm
you're
on the
traffic.
freeway and someone's hauling ass, I appreciate
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, go
Give
to
'em
fucking
room.
town.
Yeah.
And by the way, be the rabbit. Because if
Yeah.
the buzz is
Exactly.
out
Yep.
here, you go. I'll tuck in behind you,
going
and
for
you'll
you.
be the one
Yeah.
that's getting pulled over.
On the way down, I noticed I had about 4 cars behind me who were letting me be the rabbit. Mm-hmm. And, at one point, you always got to check. Does someone else want to take the lead? You got 2 open lanes. I'm moving over to the right. Someone wants to make that power move. Go ahead and go for it. No, they all tuck in behind me. We're going to follow you.
They
dude.
deferred.
It's a very communal experience when
we
you think
got
about
to
it.
raise the speed limit in certain parts of
Indeed.
this
110.
state because
110 is safe.
modern cars are so safe at that speed versus what we're used to growing up. All right. Well, I want to thank Geico for sponsoring that segment, and you can get your bundle going at geico.com. All right. Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters, lead guitar player. Foo Fighters going to come in. We'll talk rock and roll and beyond right after this. Well, Chris Shiflett, our good friend from the Foo Fighters, has joined us in studio. One of my favorite bands. It sounds like one of the best bands to be in, too. So congratulations.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
And Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I want to get into that. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I look down and I see you're doing a podcast, Walking the Floor with Chris Shiflett.
Yeah.
And guests include Teddy Atlas, who I fucking love. God, do I love Teddy Atlas. Tommy Lee. I love Tommy Lee. And the Jayhawks.
Indeed,
who I love.
but also, I mean, I know you're a boxing fan. I also interviewed Robert Garcia. I interviewed Freddie Roach.
Wow.
I interviewed Manny Pacquiao.
Sweetest guy in the world.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I thought I'd been around like celebrities with entourages and things like that, but I've never seen anything like.
rolls
I went to
deep.
Manny Pacquiao's house.
Yeah.
His house. It looked like there were people. I don't know what this was, but it kind of appeared like there were people just walking in off the street to like do selfies with him.
Yeah, he's definitely a man of the people. He's going to end up being the president of the Philippines, I'm sure.
Right.
And then there's Teddy Atlas, who Teddy Atlas is kind of the white Charles Barkley. Like that guy just says like if there's a fight and a bad decision, he's
Yeah.
like, this is why people hate this sport because it's corrupt. It's like,
Yeah.
you're on ESPN and stuff. It's all corrupt. It's corrupt. The mistake. You train your ass off and you get robbed. This is why people aren't watching this sport. Like
He's entered the Barkley zone.
He goes nuts.
That's why he's a great person to interview.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did not hold back.
You must have got some good Tyson stories out of him, probably.
Yeah, he didn't seem to really want to go there. I would guess that he's probably kind of sick of talking about it, But I talked to him a little bit. I had to bring it up, of
All
course.
right, well, let's talk about the real guests, the Jayhawks. Did they bring me up? Did they talk about me?
What did they say about Adam?
What did they say about me?
I wish I had known that before I had interviewed them. Why do you have like history with them or something?
Oh, that is hurtful.
love-
That is hurtful.
Just love the Jayhawks.
I apparently didn't do my Jayhawks
You
research.
need to take a deep
well enough.
dive.
It's on their Wikipedia.
You have to
No
go to page
fans.
2.
Okay.
Yeah,
Next time.
Just always been a huge Jayhawks fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was early in the COVID lockdown transition to doing everything through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it really kind of challenging to interview more than one person at a time. And I interviewed all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like Zoom has just enough latency to kind of
Mm-hmm.
make that really, they were cool, but that was a challenging one because I felt like we all just kind of talked over each other the whole time. It
Yeah.
was,
Yep.
tough.
Yeah, you really.
I blew my Jayhawks
The thing is,
moment,
just
pal.
talk to one.
Right.
Where's Dave Grohl, by the way? As a matter of fact, speaking of just a one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's Dave doing right now? Is he close by physically?
Does he talk about us?
All the time. All the time. He's playing solo tonight. So
he is?
You could go over there and
Where's he?
grab him for that.
Mahalo.
Is this well, not a new thing, but you guys play Madison Square Garden, you play stadiums. I saw you guys at the Forum, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah.
But then everyone kind of breaks off and does a little smaller, more intimate gigs.
No, that's pretty normal. I mean, that's kind of always been the case. Like, especially Dave. He's always doing stuff outside of Foo Fighters, but he just put a book out, so he's doing a few. It's not even really like I went last night, and most of it is not him sitting there playing songs. It's him telling stories, and
he's he's quite the raconteur.
Yeah,
we had I haven't told the story in a long time, but we had a little dust up many years ago.
You and Dave had a dust up?
There was beef.
Many years ago.
Really?
A misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Do tell. I've never heard this story.
He was playing the Acoustic Christmas, I think, which would have been the amphitheater out here.
The Gibson.
The Gibson, yeah.
And now the Gibson. Then it was some, I don't know, it was just
Universal.
Universal Amphitheater.
Well,
but
now it's
local.
just gone.
Or is it
yeah,
just
it's
gone?
gone, yeah.
Right. Now it's Harry Potter's toilet or something.
Right.
Exactly.
But he was playing it, and it must have been 2000, or maybe it was 99. I don't know. Foo Fighters must have. Well, now someone's going to have to check. So it must have been Foo Fighters.
2001.
2001.
We did that show many times, at
Yeah.
least when I was in the band. I don't know if they ever did it before.
It was, it could have been 2001. Anyway, I guess I was talking to him, and after backstage or something, and he said that he was in town and he was staying at his sister's house. And his sister's house, we figured out, because she's like, she's in the Valley. And I'm like, I'm from the Valley. And I'm like, what street she on? It's on Addison or whatever. And I said, I have a house.
Did you just dox Dave's sister?
I think I did. I think I got a house across the street from your sister's house. Now, that was the party house. That was not where I lived, but I had a party house that was directly across the street. And I said, I would go there on Saturdays and stuff and play basketball with the guys and stuff. So I was like, I'll just come by and say hi tomorrow. And, all right, come by and say hi. So I went to the house like Saturday morning and hung out. And I waited till it was like, 11 or noon or something, because, you guys are rock stars. And then I went over there and I knocked on the door. And what is and probably became his wife answered the door, although I was unfamiliar with her because I didn't see her backstage. Blonde, attractive, and seemed like maybe I woke her up with the knock on the door. So then I think I got on the air that night when I was doing Loveline, and
What was your interaction with her?
I was just like, hey, I'm Adam. Can Dave come out and play? And she's like, Dave's sleeping or something. And I said, okay. Well, anyway, she just shut the door and I just went back to my house and played basketball. But then that night, it must have been a Sunday. Who cares? I said, I went over to Dave Grohl's sister's house, but he obviously picked up some groupie or some.
I think he said floozy.
Could have said floozy.
Floozy's worse than groupie.
He picked up some floozy on the road, and she answered the door. I never even got the chance to talk to her. Well, the floozy turned out to be his wife.
The soon-to-be wife.
Or soon-to-be wife. And so, guys being...
Dave doesn't hold a grudge.
No,
I'm sure
no.
he's long since forgotten.
I'm sure. I just reminded him, but I'm sure.
Now that dust up will be dusted up again.
I'm sure they'll talk again someday.
Yeah.
Well, Pat, I just left Foo Fighter band practice right before I came here, and Pat said he was going to maybe stop by.
Oh,
so maybe he's coming over here to,
Fisticuffs.
settle the score.
Pat, I love. Pat lives kind of in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Pat's a free
Do you
spirit.
want to dox him too?
He's up off of Ridgecrest.
House.
Yeah. No, I've been over to Pat's place and hung out, drank some wine with
Nice.
him. That guy's got a crazy, interesting kind of rock and roll past. Was he with the Germs?
Yeah.
What was his first band?
Well,
Pat Smear?
that was
I know
his
Pat
first
Smear.
band,
I know his first band was.
But he's one of those rare LA. He's an actual LA native, that grew up here.
Yeah, and early on the punk scene.
Yes,
Early.
earliest.
Yeah. Pat's the one who will be playing the acoustic guitar in some of the Nirvana videos.
He's had a lot of Nirvana stuff.
Right,
yeah.
where you're like, is that guy in the band or is he just in for the unplugged set or whatever? That's Pat.
Yeah.
I have a question. What I've always wondered this. When you're, if I may heap some praise, when you're a super group like Foo Fighters, what is band practice on year 25 or whatever year it is, 30, whatever year it is? What is band practice?
Well, I mean, it's kind of always been this way. Most of the time, band practice is us sitting around eating, talking shit like that. It's just this is we are at band practice right now, basically. That's most of the time, and then you play a couple songs here and there. But these last couple days. These are Taylor organized band practices, so they run a little more,
rigid.
Yeah, it's a little more militant. We get in there and we just play the set. Bam, 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 bam.
And
Get the dust off.
Wow.
And once you then hit the road, no reason to rehearse because you're getting your reps on stage, right?
Yeah.
And then how much of the mixing up of the set? And then I know you guys are pretty famous for bringing people out, having people sit in. I know it's, you can't do it everywhere.
Like, when you get back out on the road, you usually they're messing around with the set to a point, and then it kind of finds the thing that you find the thing that works, and
right,
and you don't deviate too much from that. I mean, it's kind of like the songs seem to live in blocks, and the blocks might move around a little bit, depending on the night. But
there's song transitions.
But that's the thing that I
I
always loved about this band, is because I've been in a lot of bands before this where people get really nervous to play. Yeah, we don't really know that song, and we can't do that or whatever. And with Foo Fighters, it's just like we kind of half know a song. We might not have played a song in 10, 15, 20 years, and we'll just, somebody's there that wants to do it, and we just
Who was up? Someone came from the crowd and was drumming. It's just a memory just recently.
What's her name? Nandi or
little girl?
Yeah, the little.
Yeah, it's nice that I feel like you guys are having fun and kind of breaking it up and bringing people up and sitting in with people. Although it's maybe not so much for you, Chris, although I'll bet you've gotten this. You don't have to name names, but once word gets out that when they come play the Forum for 3 nights or whatever it is, people are sitting in, there's got to be some lower tier people that are kind of buzzing around going, hey, I'm around that weekend. I keep my guitar, I keep it in my car, and you're kind of like, I've heard of this person or maybe they're good, but I don't really
Rob
want
Thomas
them up
is
there.
lurking around.
That's right.
I don't really remember quite that ever happening, but it usually happens when a little kid gets up and plays a song with us, at the end of the set. Then for the next, 3 months, everybody brings their. I mean, that's the kind of wacky thing. You see a lot of what used to be maybe a stage parent.
Yeah, it's the rock version.
Social media parent.
Yeah, the rock version of toddlers and tiaras.
Throwing their kid into your arm.
Right.
Like, make my kid go viral with you. Kind of. You see a lot of
cobble
that,
and throwing the kid.
And didn't Dave just give his chair to a metal bass player that got shot? The Game of Thrones chair?
I must have missed that.
I think that happened. Well,
Taylor's running the practice.
I still can't believe
Not a lot of small talk.
Well, I still can't believe that somebody who broke their leg on stage in front of a crowd just said, fuck it, let's...
Well, I remember he let Axl use it at one point when he broke his foot or something.
But kept playing,
That thing's made the rounds a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, the chair, it's
that,
useful.
in a world where a pair of Michael Jordan's rookie shoes are going for over $1 million bucks,
chair
and
throne.
Dorothy's slippers and everything else, and every bit that was in a Star Trek movie or whatever,
hero
is all
car.
Indiana Jones
that
whip.
throne, man, that's going to be a high fucking dollar item one day in the rock and roll memorabilia department.
Indeed. You should see our studio. It's just jammed with that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Really?
All that
I'd
stuff
like
from
to
over
see
the
that.
years, yeah.
You got to hang on to it.
Not since
Old
Billy
stage
Idol.
props. Oh, there it is.
Not since Billy Idol, someone rocked so hard with a broken leg.
When are you guys going back out on tour?
Well, it's a strange time. We've been touring, since the spring, when things kind of started to open back up. But you haven't been able to do any international stuff yet, and that's usually what we spend, probably most of our time doing. So it's been an interesting period because it feels like we're kind of touring in just drips and drabs, wherever we can go. And then going to some places that we've never been before. Like we went to Alaska recently. That was amazing.
Yeah.
After all these
We
years,
just
that
got
was
back,
I think,
or I just got back.
first time for everybody going up there. Yeah. Oh, you just got back?
Yeah. Were you guys playing there?
Yeah, we
and
did
hanging-
3 shows. That was great.
Where do you play in Alaska?
Well, both the like proper arenas in Fairbanks, I think, were being used for other things. I think one was like a COVID center, and one was like a
Adam
turned into a
Carolla
homeless
show.
shelter or something. But so we played it like, I mean, that's what was really so fun about that trip in particular. We played like, I don't know what it was, like a convention center or something. It felt like there was an interesting period not too long after I joined Foo Fighters. 'Cause I joined in '99, where it was sort of the band was sort of making that transition from like big clubs and theaters into. It wasn't an arena level band in most places, you know. So we went through this, you know, a bunch of years there where you're sort of playing in like smaller arenas with the stage pushed up against the back,
Right,
or like
the
weird,
auditorium.
just weird rooms, you know,
Yeah.
convention centers or something. And so it felt like that. It was like it just kind of felt like a Foo Fighter show from 2000 or something. You know, it was great.
Did so the Hall of Fame's coming up, I guess, next month? I don't
Yeah,
get
no,
that
end of
right?
this month.
End of this
Yeah,
month.
in a couple of weeks.
And I don't know how much you can talk about, but obviously they're going to want you guys to play. So I'm guessing
I
you're
would
going
think
to
so.
play. So you got to. Do they go? You got 4 songs, or you got 10 minutes, or you do whatever you want in 10,
I
8
don't
minutes?
know. That's a good question. I actually asked that at rehearsal today, and nobody had an answer. So what are we doing?
That's
at
a couple
the,
weeks
at the Hall of
away.
Fame? Yeah. Well, you know, we know how to play our songs. and
Right.
presumably that's
Play
what
the
it'll be.
hits.
But
I'm gonna
the
guess.
the Rock Hall of Fame, the induction ceremony is famous, right, for people sitting in, you know what I
Right.
mean, famously.
Yeah.
Serenading you.
Yeah, or playing your songs with you. Will you have people, will you have any say in who sits in with you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure those discussions are happening,
knows?
but it hasn't filtered down to this level. When you're the third guitar player, you're not really on the, you know.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm
You're
not,
not
in that
meeting.
email chain.
Is
Yeah,
Dave close by?
Yeah, we could call him. He won't pick up, but we could call him.
he. I don't know. I guess you can't have a band stay together. I was interviewing Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue earlier today to be played next week, but he was talking about a band he had right before Motley Crue called Britain?
London.
London.
Yeah,
London.
He was in
Shit.
London.
I was right
London
around
was
there.
the band in Hollywood that everybody passed through and went on to great fame, but they kind of never quite got there.
Right, and he was in that band, and he said he had a great lead singer, and he said the guy was like Freddie Mercury level,
Like Dave
lead,
Mustaine or
lead
something like that?
singer. Yeah, it was, Ronnie James Dio, and he said like at some point when they passed on him, and it was Capitol Records. His uncle ran Capitol Records and passed on
Brutal.
him. His uncle like went out and saw him, and he said like best set of our life. He said, I'll call you tomorrow morning. And it's like, best set of our life. You know, and they call him the next morning. It's like, pass.
Welcome to the music biz, son.
That's a fun thing.
Well, that's kind of a recurring theme, though. Like if you read that book that's on about the early Van Halen, right? And then there's a great book about that just came out not too long ago that I interviewed the authors for. That's like an oral history of '80s rock, and you just see that over and over. Van Halen couldn't get a record deal. They were told, "Yeah, what you're doing, you're dinosaurs. It's over. It's all new
Right.
wave now, kids." That thing, and the same thing happened to Motley Crue. You know, couldn't get a record deal. Had to put their own record out, and then eventually it happened. Same thing happened to Poison. That just happens over and over and over.
Yeah, he said he basically just went to practice the next day, told the band, you know, they're all like, well, you know, what'd your uncle say? And it's like, he passed. And the lead singers went, I quit. And that was it. Like, sort of never heard from the guy ever again. So, but it made me think of like chemistry and hard work and all that stuff. And I feel like the Foo Fighters have that. Like the Foo Fighters, you have to have that chemistry, or you have to have the sort of like-minded whatever, because, well, we all know the head cases. I mean, there's the Van Halen. You brought up Van Halen. I mean, look no further than Van Halen.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think bands are like, you know, it's like bands are like sharks. Like you need forward motion, you know, and that's like if you look back. Because people, you know, we've been a band for a really long time. People always ask, like, how do you keep going? How do you keep together all these years, all that sort of thing. I'm like, I don't know, man. We just made records every couple of years and hit the road. We just kept doing it.
Is the road different now, though? Everyone with kids and you know, like getting older and kind of not wanting to do the full grind that it was?
Yeah, which is great. You know, we all kind of had kids around the same time. So it wasn't like, you know, that all kind of, everybody kind of got into that same, you know, groove at the same time. So it worked out, you know, that because we're really never gone for more than 2-3 weeks at the most. You know?
But is there, like, I know it just on a smaller scale from doing comedy, which is like you can spend a little more and make a little less and be a little more comfortable and not do 2 shows a night or not travel this modality or fly private or like where there's concessions that can be made. It hurts the bottom line a little bit.
But worth it.
But seems to be good for longevity.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to you just can't think about the gazillions of dollars that you're just lighting on fire every day for that very reason. You know what I mean? Because it just keeps things humming along. And everybody's got to stay happy. If the band isn't happy, then what do you got?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jen.
I know you're not doing a lot of international travel now, but it's always fun to find out when you do that. What is a country or a culture that you are shocked is as ravenous for your music as they are? Or where do you just assume like Denmark, we know that's going to be a good show or whatever?
It took us a really long time to get to South America for some reason. We went there once. We played one show down in Brazil, I think it was back in 2000 or 2001 or something like that. And then we didn't go back for a really long time. And that is like a rock.
Yeah, they love rock
man.
music down there.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Rock
South
in Rio
America.
and all
It's insane. The crowds down there. Maybe the wildest in the world.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm looking at the rock and roll rundown, the Hall of Fame rundown. So you guys are in the performance category. You got Tina Turner, good. Carole King, good. Wow, prolific songwriter.
Go-Go's are
Go-Go's underrated. I say I love
Agreed.
the Go-Go's. Jay-Z, great. Foo Fighters, Todd Rundgren. So you got a good.
Let's not forget Randy Rhoads is going in.
Let's not forget Randy Rhoads. Well, I was talking to Nikki Sixx about Randy Rhoads.
Really?
Because I think, and now someone's going to have to look this up because I'm sleep deprived, but I think Randy Rhoads may have played with him in a band back in the day. He was the virtuoso guitar god who broke off and toured with Ozzy and then was
those first 2 Ozzy records
tragically killed in a kind of a goofball stunt that involved, and again, Chris can look it up, but Randy Rhoads, so he's this great guitar player. He goes off with Ozzy. I think he's in town. He's in here. Nikki knows him, and
he was from like North Hollywood or Burbank or something. He was local. Yeah, his mom owned like a music school over there. But he was my hero when I was around that time in the early 80s. He was my absolute guitar hero.
And he goes off and he tours with Ozzy, and they're touring somewhere, and they're just out in the hinterland somewhere, maybe in Europe and
Florida.
Or Florida.
The Everglades.
Well, a place you could pull this shit off. Like Ozzy's in his tour bus, and Randy gets in a plane, a prop plane or something with a guy, and he's like, it'd be fun to buzz him. Like just buzz Ozzy while he's sleeping in the tour bus. They buzzed him a little too close. I think they hit the tour bus, and they both died in the plane crash.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But in terms of ways to go,
It's a pretty rock and roll way to
buzzing
go.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, honestly, it means a lot to personally to get to go in at the same time as him. That's pretty cool. I actually dusted off I have a Randy Rhoads model guitar.
Oh, you do?
That's going to be my personal Randy Rhoads tribute. If we play a few songs at this thing, I'm going to play it for at least one of them.
Nice.
He must have gone in his late 20s. I mean, or early 30s. I mean, he wasn't that old, right?
Like mid 20s. I think.
25.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
God, I mean, God knows how much playing that guy had
Still be
left
around?
in the
Yeah.
tank.
He made like 2 records that everybody knows. He made a couple before that with Quiet, like an early version of Quiet Riot. But like those first 2 Ozzy records, it's like classics.
Yeah. I wonder why. So it's obvious posthumously, but I wonder why it took so long for them to get him in there.
I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a pretty long list of people that.
Well, I know you feel pretty good about the Randy Rhoads class, but I must also mention that Kraftwerk is in your group too. So I'm bringing
Don't get
it
too
down to earth.
Yeah, baby.
Adam's not their biggest fan.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
Maybe their third biggest fan.
I think that they were part of that long list of people that everybody felt like should be in there, but had never gotten voted in.
Dawson, don't you do the road manager for Kraftwerk? Is that one of your many characters? Wasn't that one?
Kraftwerk in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We welcome the Foo Fighters.
Oh, he's a chameleon, that Dawson.
We're not going to offend the Germans now, are we?
Oh, no one cares about the Germans anymore. They're the least of our problems. So let's talk about the pod. So who do you got? By the way, nobody has had Well, maybe only me has spoken to Teddy Atlas and the Jayhawks and Tommy Lee, but big boxing fan, huh?
Oh yeah. Did you watch the Fury Wilder fight?
I watched the highlights. I was
You heard
out
son
of town.
talking.
My
You watched
son-
the high. That's
I
it's
know.
like, honest to God, that is the best heavyweight fight since
Is it really?
George Foreman, Ron Lyle. It's insane. You need to watch that fight.
Well, I guess the question for Chris is: is your self-esteem high enough to pay for pay-per-view if you're the only one watching?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's where you
I
differ.
do it like consistently.
Gina,
right.
Yeah,
that's
all
a
the time.
ridiculous question to a normal person.
Right.
But you know what I just figured
hold
out?
on.
With that fight,
Yeah.
I bought the pay-per-view and recorded it and tried to watch it the next morning again,
I don't think
and
it'll
it doesn't play
No,
back.
I
Oh,
know.
shit.
What is that?
I know.
Wow.
But let me just give you some context because the Foo Fighters play the soccer arenas in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be at Magooby's Joke House November 5th doing 2 shows, by the way. So we don't have the pay-per-views.
Gina, please.
The same kind of pay-per-view cash floating around.
That's a good
That was a
point.
smooth transition. Smooth.
Yeah, it was a great
Poignant
fight.
and funny.
Now better. So if you're a fight aficionado, better than Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, for instance, like 1 or even 2. 'Cause that was a pretty epic heavyweight
I don't
battle.
know. Maybe not better.
But more knockdowns,
But
probably.
as you know, the heavyweight division has not been great for a really long time. Pretty much since that era, since
Right.
since Lennox Lewis.
Right.
It has not really been the most entertaining.
Yeah,
division.
the Klitschko's kind of dominated Lennox Lewis before that.
Right.
But if you're
And-
reaching back to the 90s, that's a good.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's
Endorsement.
been building, and with Fury and Joshua and Wilder, and there's a bunch of guys that are just kind of the next tier down, like Dillian White and all those guys. That are great too and super entertaining. But right now, it's like it's at a good place.
Well, it is interesting, and I think it's important to understand that it's like sort of cyclical, so everyone remembers the
been a long
halcyon
cycle.
days of they're Ali and he's fighting Foreman and Foreman's fighting Joe Frazier and all. And then there's the Ron Lyles and the guys that are sort of the next tier over.
Ernie Shaver and all
Ernie
those
Shavers
types,
and
yeah.
guys like that. But it's all great. And then it all goes weird. Larry Holmes is the dominant champ. There's a bunch of guys you never heard of who's
Trevor
fighting.
Burbick.
Right. Ronaldo Snipes.
Not a household
Ronaldo
name.
Snipes. There's a guy. But the point is, Too Quick Tillis and guys like that. You never heard of these guys. And then Tyson comes
Right.
in, and now you got some stuff. And then Holyfield. And if you looked at it like it was a sort of graph, it would just be blah, 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 bad, low, nobody cares, 9 years. And then all of a sudden, and then blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But isn't that, to me, that is the beauty of boxing. It's why I love it so much. But I think it's why other people don't understand it or don't appreciate it. Is because the vast majority of fights you watch are terrible, are basically
Right.
unwatchable. You know?
Yes.
And then every now and again, there's a magic one, and the magic one makes it worth all that time
Right.
invested sitting there watching all the stinkers. And
Right.
that fight the other night, that was a magic one. It was good. It was like you got it's a trilogy, so there's a backstory. They hate each other. There's bad blood, so it's kind of fueled by that thing. And
Yeah.
then it was like back and forth. And then really Wilder kind of the first half of the fight did better than you kind of thought he was going to. And there's there's back and forth knockdowns and all that stuff. And then an incredible beat down violent ending. It's like everything you want in
Yeah.
a heavyweight fight,
I wonder, what do you do? Can you can't, I've had that same thing too, where you can't tape them and they don't let you capture
Yeah,
that.
you can't watch it
But you
again.
could probably find it somewhere and maybe pay for it again or something. Anyway.
I don't know.
It's weird the pay-per-view doesn't allow you to rewatch what you bought. You know what
It
I mean?
used to.
Yes.
It used to.
Yeah.
Now it
And
doesn't.
But I'm saying that it doesn't now.
Yeah.
That's weird.
do we have, you had a note on my screen of Foo Fighters playing in Italy?
Oh no!
That
Well,
was
you guys
cool.
were talking. Gina asked about fans that love the Foo Fighters and what countries, and there's that viral video where 1,000 people played learn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Once and
Yeah.
Where
You're
was
aware
that?
of this, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, that was one of those things that kind of came
is
out of
cool.
nowhere.
Foo Fighters,
A lot of drone
Italy,
shots
learn to
there.
fly. Yeah, it's awesome. God damn.
Very cool.
All right, you want to hang out with us, Chris? We'll
Sure.
Well, let me do a spot, and then we'll do the news, or we can talk fights, or what have you.
Yeah.
First, I'll tell you about Blinds Galore. First place to buy custom blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, online, family-owned and run, mother-daughter duo for over 20 years, over 2 million windows covered. I have them at my house. I got in the studio. We have them in the edit bays, and you can take the measurements yourself, and Blinds Galore has a build-a-blind tool, help you find exactly how it looks on screen before you buy, so you can mock it up and make sure it's how you want it. Save a ton compared to the big box stores. Fall's here, winter's right around the corner. It's going to get cold, so keep that cold out. Don't let it creep in. Insulate your windows with stylish cellular shades or drapery panels. Even connect your shades to your smartphone or Amazon so they're electric. And you don't have to hardwire them. You just charge them up like once a year and operate the whole thing from your phone. It's Blinds Galore, right, Dawson?
Blinds Galore makes it easy to get the safe, high-quality designer blinds and shades you've always wanted in your home, all at a great price, all at up to 45% off. See for yourself at blindsgalore.com and let them know that Adam sent you. That's blindsgalore.com.
Howie is very much into residential real estate, and he builds houses and buys houses and like flips houses and always has a project going on. It's not something you think about with him, but he's deep into it because I was an ex-builder, so every time we hang out, he's always talking about this project and that project.